Good morning. Milder here in England. We've had this extraordinary, well, no rain at all in April, and then pretty cold wind from the Arctic coming down. I'm hoping for a little warmth would be nice. Get those gardens growing and the trees and everything, and the crops, of course, for the farmers. We have had rain now, so it should all just burst forth, as us Scottish types say. Right, the slippery slope to Armageddon. A moral vacuum, or so has the Prime Minister of Britain been described by a senior Conservative figure, no less. And the people think he's the bee's knees because he gets things done. Well, just in case anyone's forgotten, I obviously wasn't there. In the Second World War, I'm only 64 years old, born in 1956, Hitler got things done and he employed people. So the mantra, jabs, 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 and then jobs, 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 i.e. money, when at the centre of all of this, there's a moral vacuum headed up by the Supreme Governor of the Church of England, a woman, obviously Queen Elizabeth, who is also head of the army, which traces its origins back to Henry VIII. Dissolution of the monasteries, 1539, etc. Right. Well, Queenie will have to pop her clogs one of these days. I think she's 94, 95 years old, whatever it is. Possibly even 96. And then what? Prince Charles, well, he was shagging his best mate's Roman Catholic wife before, during, and after his marriage to Princess Diana, for heaven's sake. And that man would lead a Christian church, albeit supreme governor. And as to the other pack of them, oh, please. So, there's no genuine Christian leadership, for starters, and everyone who doffs their cap to that. So Justin Welby, obviously, is the current Archbishop of the Church of England. I'm not a priest or a vicar or whatever, a parson in the Church of England. Thank heavens I had the sense finally to see the fact that it's a king without any clothes. It has about the moral authority of a, I don't know. Right, returning to the gutter rat, with the morals of a gutter rat, the Prime Minister of this, my country, Britain. I'm British, by blood, half and half, English and Scottish. And I'm proud of my family. Good, solid farming. There was a missionary, William Ross, the Scottish side, trained with Dr. David Livingstone, a missionary to Southern Africa. My father was King's Lynn, Royal Norfolk's Master Baker, his father, my grandfather. And on and on. My mother was a maternity sister. Granny ran the farm in the bush in Africa while the men, her sons, in their kilts went to the Second World War, and so on and so on. She was also a mathematician, actually, I believe. The Greeks got it right. Their form of leadership, I'm no expert on this, but you had sort of patrician types, i.e. people with their own resources, who then ran the state. You have to have someone to run the country, obviously, for the good of the people, the plebs. Well, I'm afraid in that context, the plebs, I mean, this man who's, I'm not absolutely refuse to say his name, the current Prime Minister of Britain, just likes pleasing people. What if he has to make a real decision as to whether to push the nuclear button or something? Well, he's guided by a set of principles. I did take the trouble to read his Wikipedia entry last night. It is appalling. Ghastly little man. Well educated. Got an upper second, apparently, in classics, Greek, ancient Greek and Latin. At Balliol College, Oxford. Well, it's a pack of cards. One little puff and God will blow the whole lot down. In my lifetime. I'm expecting it. I'm only 64. So, all things being equal, I'm inclined to put the heating on because it's sort of chilly. And then I've got these are just my normal clothes for what it's worth. I'm a Christian, but I live a sort of monastic life. I've avoided the big churches. Don't get me onto the Roman Catholics. That's a whole nother can of worms, because I rejected them too. So I'm an awkward old thingy-me-what's-it, for which I'm most grateful. This is my background, this is who I am, I'm independent. I do not have to doff my cap to anyone. I've got a few bob in the bank and that's enough. So there we are, in a nutshell. You get the leaders you deserve. Now, I've travelled the world, tried to settle in other countries, literally all the English-speaking countries, certainly. France, Italy, Spain, Peru, amongst others, Persia, Iran. I didn't try and settle there, but I've been there. India, which is another sort of big thing for me, but nothing came of it. Australia, New Zealand, Canada, America, I don't know. Name a country, Sweden, South Africa, obviously. I was born there. I'm a white African too, because of my missionary ancestor. So I've had a bit of a look round the world, and for whatever reason, I'm drawn back to England. 3 weeks' time, I'm moving up north to Northumberland, and I see they've voted in Conservative people. So they clearly are not bothered by the morals of their Prime Minister, the gutter rat. But what does that say about them? Right, if I don't speak about it, at the very least, I am then becoming a part of that evil. This is why I have to speak, at the very least. No doubt I will have more to say if anyone bothers to listen in due course. Amen. And I'll say amen to that. There's light in my little place. It's just a little place. All my material needs, it's nice and warm and dry and fresh, clean running water. We actually had there's watermen. I'm in a little town called Harpenden, a bit further south of me, so it didn't affect me. But surprisingly enough, I've actually got bottles of water in my house for this very eventuality, you see, and a little primer stove and candles. I mean, that's me, that's my background, independent. Come what may. Amen. There's light in this place, my Christian place. Amen.